I'm about to do a PSA at the start of this podcast here. All right, here we go. All right. So, welcome to the GamePad Saga. Got Big Brother Eric
in the house.
Kishion in the house as well. So, PSA before we even get started. I know we're a gaming podcast, but we're going to talk about life a little bit. We just sat here and talked about life for a little while.
We did.
And it was good. It was good stuff.
Very good.
Therapeutic. There's one less therapy session I can have with a psychiatrist. However, any of you out there that have daughters or nieces, even nephews or sons, let me tell you something.
All the above. Sisters,
all the above.
Brothers, cousins.
All the above, yeah. I got a couple beers in me too, so I'm not drunk, but I'm a little relaxed. Have you been drinking yours?
Yeah, man, I got one.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. Chug that bad boy.
Yeah. You can't be chugging. You gotta respect it. So make sure you lay some ground rules and some boundaries. Be real. Make sure you have some type of understanding because we were all young once. Am I correct?
Yes.
But I swear to goodness, I'm body slamming somebody. I'm body slamming somebody if something's happening. My nieces are growing up and they're getting older and they're learning relationships. My nephew the same.
Navigating the life of relationships, I guess.
You know what? I do like Athena's boyfriend though. He's nice. Tell you a quick story. So our other niece, one of our older nieces, Tashani, love you, by the way. She brought over a boyfriend at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the girls this all the time because they are like, oh, Anki, how come you don't like my boyfriend? Or how come this? Or how come that? And this is the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
So sis comes, brings Shawnee. The boyfriend's in the back seat. So this was over at Heron Landing at the time.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So
I didn't meet this one.
I say hi to everybody. And I was like, well, who is this in the back seat? Oh, it's my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, hey, how are you? I'm Sean. I'm the uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Reach my hand out to give a handshake. I get this limp ass fucking wristed handshake. Didn't even barely like grab my hand. Like
wow.
He grabbed me like I was the girl or something like that. You know what I mean?
The disrespect. Jeez.
And I was like, you gonna shake my hand? You know what he know what he said to me? You know what he said to me?
What he
said?
He
goes, oh, I'm tired.
Wow. I'm tired, so I do not have the respect to shake your hand.
Oh, he hot. He tired, boss. He hot. He tired.
Oh, wow.
So ever since then, I vowed that every man or woman, whomever, whoever they're happy with, I don't care. As long as they treat them right.
Yeah.
Treat my nieces right.
Exactly.
They're all bitches. See? Until proven otherwise. So Athena's boyfriend came, introduced himself, shook my hand. I was like, oh my God. Like this just simple things in life, right?
Yeah.
The simple things. So yeah, as uncles, we're going through it right now. At least I am. At least I am. But it's good to see them grow.
Yes.
And also, since we're doing gaming, Athena has gotten into gaming.
Really?
Yes, she's playing Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door as we speak.
Paper Mario?
Yes.
That was your game. You'd always talk about
Paper Mario is the shit. I love it. The comedy in it is... We'll have to touch on that at some point, but Paper Mario, probably one of the best series I've had. Now, I didn't really care for Origami King too much, but it was still a good story. I just didn't like the battle system so much, but it was easy to pick up. But, yeah.
Oh, we still got to do your Mario thing and why he's evil. We'll do that another time, but I was thinking about it the other day.
Damn it.
We'll make it a little deep dive episode.
Oh, man. He's not evil. He's insane. He's insane. Mario is insane. I'll just give one small snippet, and then we'll go into what we're actually talking about. So anybody who has played Super Mario World, if you can think back those many years ago, it wasn't that long, but those many years ago
wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't. Think of two things that you would do with Yoshi. Yoshi was a good springboard. You dropped Yoshi in the pit all the time.
Sorry, dog. I didn't get up there.
Yeah, you dropped him in the pit all the time. Mario dropped him in the pit. And then whenever you had to eat things, especially had to use his tongue, think back. Even go on YouTube and look at videos. How is this man getting this dinosaur, this gentle dinosaur, to even get his tongue to stick out? That man is beating him in the back of his head. He is like literal, just donkey punching him in the back of his head. And that man is just like sticking his tongue out because that's the natural reaction. But that's just a small snippet.
Mm-hmm.
Just a small one.
So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Quiet Storm.
Quiet.
Late night edition here. We are going to continue to talk about consoles again. We are going to talk about the PlayStation console and the PlayStation 2 console.
Two of the best PlayStation.
I would agree.
PlayStation 2 is the biggest, still the highest selling console.
Yeah. The PlayStation 1 was released in Japan December 3rd of 1994.
Mm-hmm.
It was released in North America September 9th of 1995. I was like, what is the reason for U.S. consoles being released in their first quarter? But I guess, everyone wants to get their first quarter money. Besides the point. But the system was released with a $300 price tag. Sold over 102.49 million millions of units. The console was discontinued March 23rd of 2006.
The original PlayStation?
Yes.
2006?
Yeah. Stop making them.
When did the PS3 come out?
PS3.
PS3 came out 2007, right? 2006, 2007?
I want to say, yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, PlayStation had a long history, especially PS2. Guess what the highest best-selling game for the PlayStation was?
Is it something I would know?
Yes, it is.
Give me a hint. I want to say Metal Gear Solid.
No, not Metal Gear.
But for PlayStation.
PlayStation. All right. I guess I'll give you.
I'm gonna go with Jet Moto.
No Jet Moto.
Ah, stupid. All right.
I'll give you a hint. You told me about it. We'll leave it there. You told me about it.
You told me? I told you about it?
You told me about it. I said, no, never.
You know what? Audience chat. Yeah, this is where
Dude, even the lifeline?
No, this is where narcolepsy and stupidity come in because I don't know anything about what I said.
All right. I'll stop being so hard on
Okay, go ahead.
Gran Turismo.
No fucking way. And you know what? Didn't I tell the story about this? Did I tell the story about Gran Turismo?
I haven't told the story yet, but you can give me a little clip because we do need to do an episode of that.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little clip real quick. So my older brother here likes to chastise my gaming choices. Well, when we were kids anyway. Metal Gear Solid was one, now one of his favorites. And now Gran Turismo, also one of his favorites. Okay. All right. I'm timing.
I think
go ahead.
I was down for Metal Gear Solid.
You were not. You were not. Really? I remember specifically. You were like, oh man, you in these games, like, what is going on? Like, really? All right. So, yeah. Let me tell the story real quick. So, Gran Turismo, they do the commercial and everything like that. And I remember I was sitting in your room, and I was like, oh man, that's going to be a really good game. Because I was into racing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, man, it's not going to be good. It ain't going to be good.
I think I was comparing it to games at the time like Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer is great. It's a great game.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's arcadey.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I think I was feeling it was an arcadey type game, and I don't know.
Just like Daytona USA was out, Cruising USA was out, Cruising Blast. Oh, no, not Cruising Blast. Cruising Blast is the sequel to Cruising USA. Cruising, what was the other one? Cruising USA?
Extreme or something.
Cruising, it was like the second one. Yeah, Cruising Extreme or something
Cruising
like
USA,
that.
Cruising to.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out.
We had those games.
Racing episode.
Right. Well, we had those games out. We played those. the Gran Turismo like had something. Like I was like, oh man, this looks like really good.
The real driving simulator.
Yeah, real driving simulator. So I'm over here thinking, hey, it's another arcadey game, but it looks realistic, right? So I go and rent it. This man's giving me shit for renting this game. We get one Friday a week to go rent a game for a weekend.
Right.
And this is the one I thought, hey, this is going to be the jackpot. This is a real good game. There was a couple times when the Blockbuster was already rented out. So the one time I got it, I was like, yes, got this. So I get it. Obviously I got to ask permission because it's not my PS. Not my PS. Not my president. So,
Just make sure you go out and vote 2024.
Yeah, go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just go ahead and do it. So I get the game. I play it. And I'm like, this isn't really what I like. This is all this stuff that's part of it. Like, we got to change the spoiler and like what wheels you need and the chassis. I'm just
setting.
I'm just like, this ain't it. This ain't it. So I put the game back in the case, and I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this, and I guess we're just gonna hold on to it until we rent something else again, because I can't get anything else. Tell me how I come home the next day and this man is playing the shit out of this fucking game, and now he owns all Gran Turismo games.
Well,
all of them.
Most of them, U.S. release ones, but yeah, the main title.
Well, I mean, yeah, the U.S. release one, but he owns all of them. Even the GT5 Prologue, he owns all of them. So, you tell me, Chad, do I have good taste in games? The world may never know.
So, as we move along.
Yeah, because you got outed.
Well, one last thing. Listed as Gran Turismo selling 10.85 million copies.
Millions.
I'm going to have to make that a regular thing. I miss those times. Okay, enough of wrestling here. All right, so the PlayStation had 12 launch titles. That was Air Combat, Battle Arena Toshinden.
That was a good one.
ESPN Extreme Games, Kalik, the DNA the DNA Imperative. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition.
Yeah.
Power Surf 3D Tennis.
Yeah.
The Raiden Project. Rayman.
Rayman was good too.
Street Fighter, the movie. Take two.
The movie.
Street Fighter, the movie.
A minor.
Not like us.
Ridge
Racer.
Okay. Hot take.
Total Eclipse Turbo and Zero Divide.
Wait, Jet Moto wasn't a?
No.
Jet Moto was not?
Was not.
That's interesting. I thought it always was.
I probably, let's see. 1, 2, I don't know. I probably played at least 5. I'm sure I played Air Combat, obviously Battle Arena, because we talked about that in the previous episode.
Toshinden.
I don't know if I played NBA Jam Tournament Edition, but we've all played NBA Jam.
Yes.
At least that time frame. If you didn't, then I don't know what you were doing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the only thing I could say is that you weren't a gamer.
Yeah.
And you just didn't play games.
Ridge Racer, I probably played for a little bit. And then, no, nothing else.
What was the first game you owned on PlayStation?
First game that I owned on PlayStation? Was it Destruction Derby?
No, you rented that bad boy.
No, I bought it. Our dad bought it. Someone bought it. I think I had 2. Or maybe I'm thinking of the demo.
You might have been thinking of the demo, because I remember we rented that bad boy quite a few times.
First game owned on PlayStation. Madden comes to mind for some reason.
No. I remember. Game Day.
Yeah.
NFL Game Day.
Was it 90? Well, NFL Game Day.
I remember. It was the 2 games you had. You had NFL Game Day. You had another one. I can't remember which one it was.
Gosh, I wish I wrote a list of all the games.
I mean, you do. It's sitting right here next to me.
Well, played over time.
Yeah.
Game Day.
Wow. Yeah. NFL Game Day. I remember the whole game. You had that soundtrack. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, all right, you bring in a little bit of realism,
right?
But
imagine they played with lightning around.
Yeah, they did. They did. In the game they did, yeah. Yeah, NFL Game Day. I think that's that.
Who was on the cover of that?
Was it Jerome Bettis? It was either Jerome Bettis or Deion Sanders from when he was in the Niners. I think it was Deion Sanders when he was from the Niners.
Jerome Bettis.
It was
the bus. Yes.
See,
Game Day 98. Yes.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I know my games, fellas and ladies. I know my games. But yeah, so that was your first game. You had another game too. I can't remember which one it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I saw our first game was MLB 98.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game. And then we had the demo disc. Demo disc had Tekken 2. Jet Moto was only a video. I was so pissed.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Really?
but it was good. It was a good video. I watched it numerous times. We had V-Rally, which was a rally racing game. That was really intuitive, actually. V-Rally, Too Extreme.
Too Extreme was that?
It was like that ESPN Extreme sports game.
The X Game stuff. Okay.
Yeah, there was Too Extreme and then Too Extreme 2 or something like that. It had Michael Schumacher's Formula One racing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game. What else did it have? It had some other stuff. It had something like some of the Fusion Frenzy. I can't remember what it is. It's like a party game. But yeah, man, if I can go on YouTube and find that demo disc, and I'm pretty sure I could too.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, it was a great game. Great game. But MLB 98, man, that was some good games had on that. We would like do seasons and stuff like that, do all 162 games. And we wouldn't play them all, of course. We'd sim them.
Right.
And then, you get people that retired, people want to trade, stuff like that.
It's crazy how...
God, the Blue Moon's good.
Excuse me. It's crazy how older games have so much not say detail, graphics-wise, but depth as far as keeping stats, which today's games don't for some reason.
Yeah. I guess that's one less resource they got to do.
I don't know. It's the little things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a comment that they don't have to keep a history of stats in college football 25 for the dynasty.
Oh, they don't?
Mm-mm.
I'm sure they'll add that in. Of course, because now we're in the realm where, the game isn't complete. We can just go ahead and put a patch in later. Does anyone have a pop chart? Anyone?
They'll just put that in next year's game, maybe.
Well, I mean, I will say, and I'm going to give a comment to this, but I'm enjoying NCAA 25. I know it's EA Sports College Football 25. It is NCAA 25. It will always be NCAA, but I'm enjoying it.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
I haven't picked it up yet.
Oh, come on. Come on.
But it is funny that, it's funny to see the teams that people are creating, scrolling through the socials, and you have the Bucky Beavers taking on 7-Eleven.
So they got the Slurpee team out there.
Yes, that was rather interesting.
The Bucky Beavers. Well, let's get into more about the PlayStation. Like, how many games did we have for the PlayStation altogether? I think it was a couple thousand, right?
Total PlayStation games. Let's see.
Yeah, all those PlayStation games that they came out with, and
so over 4,000 PlayStation games were released.
Now, I will say, PlayStation kind of held a lot of what the older systems had when it came to gameplay, when it came to the effort into making that game. Like, games were good. They were good. I mean, you had some bad ones, don't get me wrong, right?
Yes,
correct. But games they had substance, they had quality, they had replayability.
Yes.
They had all the things that you were looking for as a gamer with PlayStation. Just the original PlayStation games. As you mentioned, Destruction Derby, one of the best arcade racing games I've ever played, besides Ridge Racer. Destruction Derby we were up all fucking night playing that game.
Yeah,
just breaking shit, like,
yeah.
With the announcer, oh no, like, like when your car dies, and the music was good. Like, games had so much to offer with that new technology that we got with was it 128-bit? And as we had mentioned in the fighting game podcast, that it wasn't really good with the 2D games when it came to fighting games and other 2D games, because the rates weren't as good and it wasn't arcade perfect, but it wasn't like it was unplayable, right?
Right.
It wasn't like it was like, oh, it's super slow and the graphics took a hit, like, say, for instance, Sega. And going back to Sega, what we were talking about last time, which correlates to this, Sega is in the arcade business to bring the arcade games home, and some of those games, and especially Nintendo too, they did the same thing. Some of those games had to scale back hard because the hardware isn't the greatest. And with the PlayStation, it was the first time that you've seen that it didn't scale back too much, because it was kind of like shot for shot what it looked like, but the performance was just slightly off.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the polygons in there, you got the best damn game there is. You got the best running game there is.
Yes.
Because 128-bit polygons, yes, count me in.
So North America received or had 1,278 PlayStation 1 games. But at least, because, you said Japan releasing games.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what. I bet you we missed out on a lot of games that Japan only released. I mean, obviously you can get them imported, right?
Yeah.
But, we're going to get to the PS2 in a minute, but there's some games I played recently with some PS2 games that were just like, why the hell did it not get released out here? This is great.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. We'll get into one game soon, once we hit on the PS2.
So what is your favorite PlayStation game?
My favorite PlayStation game? That's an interesting question, actually. That's a loaded question because there's a lot of good ones.
All right. Let's go. Favorite fighting game?
On PlayStation? Definitely X-Men vs. Street Fighter. X-Men vs. Street Fighter was my favorite. Yeah, I would say that would be my favorite one. And then the Street Fighter Alpha series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha 3 specifically. Alpha 2 was really good because Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 are pretty much the same game. It's just updated. And then Alpha 3 was the sequel to Alpha 2, basically. But Alpha 3 would be my favorite.
Did you ever play a game, I guess, that surprised you?
On the original PlayStation?
Yeah. Where you like...
I really gotta think back. Let me see. Now, you can get me in the memory bank here. And a game I was surprised with? I would have to say Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
I was very surprised with that game. Because, there's those games that come out that's just revolutionary.
Right.
Zelda Ocarina of Time being one, even though it's a completely different system.
Mm-hmm.
That was revolutionary. Final Fantasy VII, that was revolutionary. It revolutionized the RPG game. What was another revolutionary one? I'm trying to think. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, another revolutionary. Like you can. There's quite a few games that will come out, and it's like, yeah, this is going to change the game.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Solid, I knew was going to change the game. Final Fantasy VII, I knew was going to change the game. Final Fantasy VII didn't surprise me. More or less, it captivated the hell out of me, though.
Okay.
Because I remember I was in 6th grade. Because I know the game came out in, 95, 96?
Final Fantasy VII? That's true.
I think it was Final Fantasy VII. I remember the commercial. I remember there was a couple friends of mine.
January 31st, 1997.
So I said, 95, 96? 97. So a buddy of mine, I went to elementary school, Alex Phillips. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alex Phillips. I don't know where he's at, but Alex, if you hear this, man, I appreciate you introducing this to me, but also I hope you were doing well. It was my first sleepover outside of having friends over at the house. Mm-hmm. My first sleepover. We had a neighbor. He had a neighbor friend by the name of Carl Sullivan. Again, great guy. One of the better soccer players in the area. That one of our other brothers, Spencer, mm-hmm. competed against all the time, and a pretty good guy all around. He came over. I remember they were talking about this game, Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, what is this? Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember we were watching it. I was watching them play it. And it was the scene where they found Sephiroth's sword into the Shinra president's back. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, the characters were really captivating, like Cloud and Tifa and Barrett and all them. They were really captivating. It was like, it looked like a ragtag group of people that just were together. They just like got thrown together in a situation, right? But it was all planned, obviously. Like they worked together and stuff like that. But that's what really captivated me the most, that I wanted to play that game, was like, this man is slumped over the desk. Now, mind you, I'm what, 10, 11, 12? And I'm seeing something like this, like something this deep. I'm like, yo, I got to play this. I have to play this. And eventually, I finally got my hands on it. I don't know how many times I rebought the damn game. Got it on PlayStation, played it on PlayStation and PlayStation 2, bought it on the PS3 marketplace, I bought it on the PS4 marketplace, rebought it again for, for PC.
Yeah.
And then now you got the remakes, which are great. But yeah, that was one game that really captivated. I wouldn't say surprised, but captivated the hell out of me. And I was like, And that's what really got me in the JRPGs. And pretty much a lot of my RPGs are JRPGs. But yeah, just seeing that scene, it was deep, because like they're trying to figure out what's going on. This company is sucking the life out of the earth because of these machines that they're using, those Mako reactors. And they're taking the Mako out of the earth to use it for their energy. And then you got somebody just left this long ass sword in the president's back, and you're trying to figure out who killed him. Yeah.
I might have to give it a shot. I never really played any Final Fantasy games. My memory is, I guess, Final Fantasy 1 from years ago.
But you played that?
I didn't play, I just watched friends play.
Oh.
But that was only my history of Final Fantasy games. So to see, I guess it evolved to a 3D game, was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Man,
that's
Final Fantasy 7. 7, 8, and 9, man. They all came out on PlayStation 2, and they were all revolutionary. They all had something to offer. It was either something new, a new like super art, or a new like gameplay mechanic that's added on top of. Actually, it wasn't really. They weren't. So what's unique about Final Fantasy 7? Well, Final Fantasy games in general on the PlayStation is that they never had the same thing. It was always different.
So they always like, what, as far as characters? Or?
Well, characters, yes.
Okay, because they always change the characters. Okay.
So none of the Final Fantasy games relate to one another. The only ones that do is Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2. None of them relate to one another. I believe they're all in different timelines. Well, Final Fantasy 7, you had the limit break. That was like kind of the big thing to do your special move, right? Final Fantasy 8, you had the draw mechanic where you could draw items from people. Like if you wanted to do magic and stuff like that, instead of just building, I mean, using your magic in all the games, you build up your level of use on it. Then it changes. So fire, you got fire, and then the second level is fire raga, and then the third level is fire something raga or something like that. So I mean, it gets increasingly high in damage. But Final Fantasy 8 had a draw mechanic where you can draw magic from people. So if they had a specific one, like, oh yeah, draw fire, or draw ice, or draw that, you could build that up and then use it against them.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the storyline for Final Fantasy 8 was really good too. It's two different storylines actually that connect, and it's actually really good. Final Fantasy 9 kind of had the same thing too, with the draw factor and everything like that. I'm trying to remember what exactly was different with that, but I would say the graphics with Final Fantasy 9 from 7 to 9 is just bar none way better than the two previous. Just the PlayStation hardware just went hard in the paint.
Go hard
with those games. Especially near the end of it, not the end of its life cycle, but later in its life cycle, games started looking so much better. I think it was what we were talking about earlier, was that the PlayStation originally was called the PSX. Now we got the PSX that is the quote unquote emulator on PC, but Nintendo and Sony had a system that was going to be called the PSX, Now, I don't know if it was cartridge based or if it was disc based, but they had something up their sleeve that they were going to come out with called the PSX. Somebody, I don't know if Big Brother's kind of looking up the details right now. Somebody was like, "Nah, we're gonna go somewhere else with this stuff. You're just gonna have to deal." And then Sony came out with the PlayStation, the PlayStation that we know and love today. Now, my question to you is, what do you think if they did come out with the PSX? Do you think it would be as successful as the original PlayStation today?
I'm going to go with no.
I agree.
Because since it was a joint venture and that I guess Sony was kind of dipping their toes at that time.
Yeah, in entertainment. Yeah.
And Nintendo was, I guess, trying to stay alive or relevant anyway.
I mean, Nintendo was doing good at that time, though.
Were they?
Yeah, they were doing all right.
But no, I don't think gaming would be where it is today if they stayed on path with their joint venture.
Yeah. But I'll just to add to that too, I think dealing with the hardware that Nintendo was using at the time, and then obviously, things upgraded and everything like that. I don't think Nintendo would actually would have put in the money.
Oh yeah.
To upgrade this hardware into it being something that's going to be mind blowing. Because if you looked, again, we talked about when they started doing arcade ports before Sega Genesis started blowing them out the water with arcade ports, they were completely different in the home system and just weren't playable. I mean, they were playable, don't get me wrong, but they were slower, looked horrific. I mean, almost anemic if you want to put it in that aspect. And it was just not it. So for Nintendo to try to do something like that with Sony, they would have had to do something. They would have had to put that money up.
Yes.
I don't think they would have. I really don't think so.
I feel the same. I mean,
you look at the Switch. You made a system with an already outdated CPU. I mean, not saying it's a bad system by any means, but I mean, the track record shows like, if you kind of went ahead and did the upgraded CPU, you probably would have better graphics in your games. Not saying that all the games are bad by any means. I mean, look at Breath of the Wild, look at Tears of the Kingdom, look at the remastered games like Metroid Dread or Donkey Kong Returns. Or Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Like, those are really pretty games. Very pretty games.
I still have to play Breath of the Wild.
I still have to finish it.
So I picked it up when Amazon had a sale and it included the DLC as well. I was like, wow, a Nintendo game going on sale. This never happened.
Yeah.
Especially a big title like that.
Right. And I'm glad PlayStation kind of did its own thing. I'm really glad because now as you see the potential that it has grown astronomically in the last 5 iterations of PlayStation systems that come out with now. Speaking of iterations, now we got the PlayStation original. So we got the original. So we had the version 2.
Oh, the smaller one.
No. So that was the Model 3.
Okay, so you're talking about the one that got rid of the CRT cable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they got rid of the CRT cables, and also the Japanese little converter. They got rid of that too.
Okay, that's fun. I just watched a video recently. A guy comparing the launch title, then the revisited or the revised.
And then you had the Model 3, which was the mini.
No, the small little one. I had that one.
Yeah, I remember you had that one. I think I broke the first one on accident. You remember? Yeah, I did. Because remember, you would always yell at us and be like, hey, stop putting your feet on the fucking entertainment system or on the entertainment thing.
Yeah.
And, we're laying in front of it watching you play games.
Yeah.
And, you had your model cars at the top.
Oh, my gosh.
And me being young and dumb, I put my feet up on it after I'd been told a million times not to do it.
So what, did the car fall or did the PlayStation?
The car fell onto the PlayStation. And it did not work anymore. I'm surprised you didn't kill me that day.
I don't know. Did I have another one? Was that the bigger PlayStation?
That was the big PlayStation. Yeah, you eventually bought the Model 3 at that time.
Okay, so the one
you bought the Model 3, and
I don't know. It's probably me just putting cars up there for no reason that shouldn't have been there.
Well, I mean, you had like a little shelf. You had like a little thing of cars up there.
Yeah,
it was nice. It was a nice little setup, but my dumbass went ahead and ruined your PlayStation. I'm sorry. Yeah. Leave it to the little brothers to go ahead and do that. Leave it to me. But yeah, that was pretty much our thing with PlayStation for the most part. I mean, I think there was a lot of games we did play. I remember playing Jet Moto eventually after a while. It was a very underwhelming game. I thought the game was a little bit better than what it was. But then Jet Moto 2 was actually pretty good though. I just didn't like the fuel system.
Did it have a fuel system?
It did. It had a fuel system because you couldn't boost after a while. It was like you had a limited amount of like nitrous you could use. You couldn't use anymore after that.
Okay, so they didn't have like a power up thing.
Not that I remember. But yeah, PlayStation, very revolutionary for gaming wise. 128-bit.
I think it was 64 still.
No, it was 128.
Was it 128?
Yeah, it was 128. It was 128. Nintendo 64 was 64. But let me tell you what, though.
Yeah.
N64 had some great ass games for 64-bit. Or maybe it was 100. Maybe it was 64-bit.
Yeah, they were still both 64 because they came out around the same time.
Around the same time. Yeah, I think they were 64-bit. My bad.
PS2 was 128.
Yeah, PS2. So yeah, for a 64-bit system, it was really good. A lot of good games came out of it. I really think that
a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Especially when you didn't have a memory card. Okay.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. And then we had to leave the system on. Then you got somebody coming in seeing that this. Why is the game still on? And that dad, that wasn't at you. Okay. Just so you know. Just so you know. And I want you listening to this thinking like, is he talking about me? No. I'm just saying in general. But there was a couple times where we've gotten turn that game off. And then we have to like, oh my God, we got to start this over again. No. Right. And then when you got a memory card, it was great.
It was.
The only downside was you wouldn't let us use it.
What?
Yes, you wouldn't let us use it, you dirtbag.
No. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's all right though. It's all right. Well, some games, because you don't want us to. So there were some games you had, but there were some games you had some pretty big deals on there, and you were like, I don't want you overwriting this.
Oh, scared.
Yeah, I mean, I broke your PlayStation, so I would have felt the same way too if that's the case. Well, yeah, that's PlayStation nutshell. PlayStation definitely got. They got the glazing for sure. Oh we're gonna bring it back.
Bring back the glazing.
They got the glazing for sure. People were very, very biased against Sega Saturn, and PlayStation was it. Why? Why you say?
Yes. Because why were they?
Because Street Fighter Alpha got the blue trails in their super arts, just like in the arcade.
Talking about blue.
Yeah, they got the blue trails, the true colors of the game. And Sega Saturn played that game a lot better than PlayStation. But I digress because, again, PlayStation was a better system when, again, polygon-wise. Polygon-wise. But yeah, that's all. That's pretty much what I got for PlayStation for the most part.
Okay.
You got anything else?
No, just the years and
memories.
The memory.
Memory. Yeah, there's some good memories on PlayStation for sure. Oh, yeah, I remember one time when we were really big into Command and Conquer.
Yes.
Remember you and one of your buddies would play that on PlayStation. Y'all would like bring your PlayStations together and got two TVs and y'all would play it. I remember coming along with that. That was pretty cool. Command and Conquer is a really good game. You remember that?
For King and Country.
Yeah.
Yes.
For King and Country.
And then I think Dad got into it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Dad got into it a little bit. It didn't last long though, but he got into it a little bit.
It felt like it did.
No. I mean, once we figured out Madden and Halo was his thing, that was his thing. That was his thing. Oh, that's the other thing too. I guess we can mention it for our next system, which would be the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
That one came out in what, 2006, 2007?
PlayStation 2 was released in North America October 26th, 2000.
2000.
Mm-hmm.
2000. Oh my God. So PlayStation 1 was still being developed well in? Yeah, that's right. Because we just mentioned earlier that in it was
They were selling
developing
like hotcakes.
Yeah, and definitely into the PS3 era. When did they stop production for the PS2?
January 4th, 2013.
All right, y'all got to get on the ball here because I don't know what's going on. If anybody's a fanboy of any system, but you might as well just get on the PlayStation train because this is where it's at.
13 years.
That's crazy. PlayStation 2 highest selling game system there is. How many games came on that bad boy? My first game I got for PS2, I remember we got it for Christmas over at Sweet Bay.
Oh, Sweet Bay.
Sweet Bay. First game I got, Madden 2002.
Madden 2002. Who was on the cover? I have to check.
Dante Culpepper.
Oh, yes.
Dante Culpepper. My man did the traveling celebration.
For total PS2 titles, 4,376.
There were some really good PS2 titles too. Really good ones.
Let's see. Trying to think first game I got.
Yeah, what was the first game you got?
Oh my God.
We all had separate systems. Just so you know, we had all separate systems.
The PS2 2000. I'm gonna default to a Madden title.
No, there's no way.
Are you sure?
There's no way. Yeah, it's something else. Because I had Madden. What makes you think you default to a Madden title when I already had Madden?
I don't know.
You literally could have came across the room and been like, hey, let me borrow that.
I don't know. Maybe it'll pop up at some point.
Maybe it'll come to mind. But yep, Madden 2002. That was my first game. And then got various other games like Madden 05, Madden 06. Well, Madden 06 was on Xbox at that point. So yeah, that's when I switched over to Xbox when it came to sports games for a little bit. What were some other games that we had? Gran Turismo, yep. Gran Turismo. I would remember going into this man's room and laying on the floor while he's like doing races. And I would just sit there and watch him with the RGT 90 or whatever it is, the red car?
The Scudo Pikes Peak?
Yeah, the Pikes Peak. The Pix Peak. I would see that thing fly through the course. And he would probably be up like 40 laps. Like, not joking you. That's how fast this car was. But Eric found the art of actually how to race. And he would race it like a realistic race. And this man would literally put it on auto race. And then it would be like a panning, like a cinematic mode or something like that. And I would just sit there and watch it.
I think that's probably GT3.
Was that GT3?
Yeah, B-Spec, where you can have like the computer drive for you.
There was an A-Spec and a B-Spec?
Mm-hmm. So the A-Spec was where you can control the car. The B-Spec was you can have the driver can control the car. Then you can put in commands like push, slow down.
What? No. Because I remember you doing it. I remember you doing the race and then you changed it.
Yeah.
That was in B-Spec?
Yeah, Gran Turismo 3.
I didn't even know that was an A-Spec and a B-Spec.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the difference besides that?
Was that the difference? It was A-Spec, you drive the car. B-Spec, the computer drives.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. So I would watch that and fall asleep every time. Hey, man, you're going to go sleep. Go sleep in your own room.
Wasn't that mean?
Well, I mean, if I had sleep apnea, I'm pretty sure you didn't want to hear the snoring. So pretty sure you didn't want to hear that. But yeah, great games came on that. Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3.
I still haven't played that one.
Oh, you whore. I can't believe this.
I don't know. Kind of taking a break from video games.
And anybody in the chat, let me tell you, or anybody in the comments, let me tell you something. Yeah. What type of punishment should this man get for not playing Metal Gear Solid 3 right now? Just leave it down there. I want to see nothing too crazy, but crazy enough to where I can laugh.
I'm going through release order. I'm still playing 1.
Lord have mercy. No, you played 2.
Yeah, I played them all, but the collection.
Oh, you're doing the
through,
collection.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
got you. You're doing the collection right now. Yeah, the collection's good. The collection's good. I think they run really well for what they're being as ports. They run really good. Gosh, PS2. SOCOM was another one I can recollect on that one.
Interesting you say SOCOM. I was going through going shuffling through the drawers. Boom, found SOCOM. I was like, oh my god.
Which one? SOCOM 1 or 2?
First one.
First one. I think they came out with 3, didn't they?
More than that, but yeah.
Okay.
I went through, 'cause I was looking, I was like, damn, they still made that.
Yeah, SOCOM, Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell was good at that time. You know, EA was kind of at the top of its level when it came to the PS2. The PS2 hardware was really good. Still not as crisp as the Xbox, the original Xbox. You can play Madden and it looks so grainy and meh. You know what I mean? But being PlayStation fanboys, you look past that. It's the gameplay.
True.
And the gameplay was good. But after a while, that did start getting to me and was like, you know, PS2's got to do something here. Got to do something. And there's some good titles that you know, they look great. The game looks great, not grainy at all.
If you guys want us to do a deep dive, put it in the comments.
Yes, please.
We'll go over it.
One game that I played, so I was referring to earlier, one game that I did play was called Chain Dive by a good buddy of mine, Terrence. Shout out to you, Terrence. Thank you. He was like, hey, man, I got this game. It's called Chain Dive. You ever played it? I'm like, no. He goes, only reason why you haven't played it was because it was a Japan exclusive. It was supposed to come out in the States, but they canceled it. And I was like, oh. So he fired that bad boy up. Luckily, PlayStation games are not region locked. PlayStation 2 games were not region locked anyway. So you could play it. I didn't know what the hell was going on in the story because it was all in Japanese. Yeah. I can't read it. I can understand some of the words because of all the anime I watch. But yeah, it was a very interesting action-packed game. Like you have to freeze your characters and then you attack them after you freeze them.
Okay.
And that's how you kill them. Don't ask me how it works because it works super well. Like the game plays so smooth. You would think that would be like a task and a half. No, man. No, it's a very smooth running game and it flows so well. If anyone out there has played Chain Dive, please put W in the comment. If not, that is something I highly recommend you all go out and either get an emulation for on the computer, or if you have an original PlayStation 2, get that game. That game, wow. The way that game ran and how it played, PS2 did it right. PS2 did it right. What were the launch titles for the PS2?
So the launch titles for the PS2, we have Armored Core 2.
Great game.
I guess it's supposed to be Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore.
Yeah, because remember it came out on Dreamcast.
Dynasty Warriors 2.
A good game as well.
ESPN International Track and Field. ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding. So I guess Olympics were around that time, 2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every 4 years.
Eternal Ring, Evergrace, Fantavision, Gun Griffin Blaze.
Okay.
Kessin. Madden NFL 2001.
That was a good game.
Midnight Club Street Racing.
That was also a good game.
I didn't play them until later on, but I felt I kind of missed out on Midnight Club.
Midnight Club 3. That's all you need to play.
Just that one.
Midnight Club 3 is great. It's a great game.
Continuing here, NHL 2001. Orphan, Scion of Sorcery. Cue Ball, Billiards Master. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Ridge Racer 5. Silent Scope.
That's a good one.
Smuggler's Run.
That's also a good one.
SSX.
Tricky.
Yes.
Nice.
Street Fighter EX3.
You know, I got something to say on that, but go ahead.
Summoner.
Okay.
Surfing H30. Swing Away Golf. Tekken Tag Tournament.
Great game.
Time Splitters.
Also a great game.
Unreal Tournament.
Also a great game.
Wild Wild Racing. And the last one is X Squad.
Not familiar with those last two. But let me tell you something
I'm
about
going back to Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter EX3. Now, Street Fighter EX and EX2 were on the original PlayStation, but EX3, there was some about that game, and again, the PS, it kind of how the PS2 kind of correlates with this. The PS2 showed a cinematic at the beginning of that game that was very very detailed in like how it fought, like how the characters fought. So they showed Ryu and Ken sparring one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously it wasn't like the perfect sparring thing. Like, you kind of see a little bit of glitching here and there and kind of like a kind of robotic movements just because
Okay, so
it's a video game. Right?
Game engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with that game and how they showed even it being a launch title and it showing like movements and like real time movements, like motion cap movements, and every blow connecting either with a block or a punch or a connect or whatever it may be. It looked so solid. It looked so good that it was how do I say it? It was like it kind of showed like what the PS2 had in power
Mm-hmm.
and in creativity. I mean, that was one of the better systems to create games for. I mean, we're not going to talk about the PS3 now, even though that was a rough year for us PS fanboys, or rough go. But
Yeah.
yeah, once I saw that, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of potential. And then Tekken Tag
Mm-hmm.
was a launch title.
Mm-hmm.
You're just coming off of Tekken 3. And Tekken 3 was one of the best PlayStation games on the PlayStation, on the original PlayStation. And you got Tekken Tag, which basically takes everything from Tekken 3 and now you can tag with better graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over with.
It's wrapped. It's done.
Over with. Tekken Tag's great game.
Mm-hmm.
Tekken Tag, awesome game. And just can't compare.
No comparison.
What were some of the games that you played on PS2 that come to mind that give good memories?
The usual. Gran Turismo.
Yeah, whatever.
Great games with Madden.
Oh,
Playing Madden.
Yeah, the game I could never beat you in. let me tell y'all a story real quick. This man, I could never win a game in Madden. Like, we were both football players. We both played football. And Madden is pretty realistic. Like, if you know how to play football, you know how to play Madden.
Mm-hmm.
If you can understand, like, responsibilities and how things work on the field, 11 on 11, if you know the chess match, you can play Madden. This man kicked my ass every single Madden game there was. Buccaneers. Corey Ivy on the tackle. Warwick Dunn with the touchdown. Who was some other? Keyshawn Johnson with the touchdown. Corey Ivy on the tackle. Fuck Corey Ivy, first and foremost.
Is that anger?
Yeah, that is a bit angry because I remember that one game that man had like 2 picks and like 10 tackles. And here I am trying to score and I can't because this man was denying me of my conquest.
Denied.
So Corey Ivy on the tackle. You would always say that too. You would always piss me off so much. I'm like, God damn it, just shut the fuck up and let me play the game. You're getting in my head. I don't appreciate it.
Oh yeah, the lovely head game.
I don't appreciate you getting in my head. I ain't calling you for dinner. But yeah, I play Madden with this man, and I don't think we played regulation games. I think we only played 5-minute games.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time I couldn't deal with those 15-minute quarters.
Dad and I played regulation games. We were there for 2.5 hours playing. Oh yeah, Padre. Let me tell you, Padre got in. Let me go back. Let me go back first. So there was one day one fateful day that I had beaten this man. I was so happy. And this man showed no emotion whatsoever. He was like, meh. And then just called it a day. I'm just like, this motherfucker here, look, you better let me get this win. Right? So I got the win. I was happy. But at the same time, it just didn't feel right because he didn't cry. I couldn't lick his tears off his cheek. You know,
I want you to feel the pain that I felt all those years.
Yeah, right, right. The tears coming from the ducts in your eyes feeds my ego. But today it didn't because you didn't cry. But yeah, the dad and I would do the regulation 15-minute games on Madden 05. Madden 05. Yeah, Ray Lewis was on the cover. And man, Dad was in it. He was in it to win it. And I'm like, all right, we had some knockdown dragouts. There was some games where he was blowing me out like 52-14 or something like that. There was some games that we were really close. It'd be like 11-13, like some Buccaneer type shit.
Remind me of those years.
Yeah, well, you know what? Somehow you won a Super Bowl. I don't understand, but however,
I mean, when the other team throws a pick, it was bound to happen.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. And none of my teams are ever going to win a Super Bowl. So that's all right. Before I leave this earth, if Carolina can win a Super Bowl, that'd be great. We've been to 2 and lost heartbreakers. I got Cam Newton trying to make a business decision, and look what happened to him. He's no longer there. And Cam, I love you, by the way. I love you. So that wasn't a knock, but that I know that was a business decision. I get it. But damn it, man.
Carolina did not show up. I don't know. That
was such a hard game to watch.
Yes. I was like, wait a minute. This isn't the same team we watched previous weeks. What the heck?
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
And it's not like Denver was this juggernaut of a team.
I mean, I like Peyton Manning too, but damn it, I wanted him to lose so bad. I was like, I can't do it.
Peyton Manning, but it wasn't like, Denver was running the score up on everyone.
No, they weren't. I know that year. No, not that year. Maybe the year before though. They were definitely running. My man scored they had 50-something touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but yeah, there's a Padre and I run regulation games, and they'd be great. 2.5, almost 3 hours, depending on penalties and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
but we had that type of time. Now we don't. But yeah, PS2 games, some other ones that I could recommend, or some that I had a really good time with. The hack.sci games.
The what?
Oh, hack.sign games. It was like 4 different games, or 3 or 4 different games. Have you heard of the anime hack.sign?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. Though it's an anime as well, but they made it into a game. There's 4 separate games. You know how much those motherfuckers cost right now? Let me pull
120.
Let me pull up the thing for you real quick.
You pull that up, and then I'll just go ahead and tell you. The best-selling game on the PS2 is
Grand Theft Auto.
Which one?
Vice City.
San Andreas.
Oh, motherfucker. What was I looking up?
Oh, the hack.
Yeah.
Hack.
Yeah. Let me go on my app. I go on here.
You said it was 4 games in one?
Yeah, I think it was either 4 or 3.
So while he's looking that up, in 2004, PlayStation decided to remodel or reinvent the PS2 console and call it a Slimline model. My little story that I have for the Slimline was that I went and bought an extra one because I wanted to play Gran Turismo 4 on some LAN party type stuff. But I didn't understand what was going on and didn't work properly, so I ended up with 2 PlayStations.
Oh yeah, you did.
And 2 Gran Turismo games. The positive, touching on Gran Turismo 4, is that I got it from GameStop, and I guess the guy released it earlier than he should have. Whoa. I was like, oh, how nice of you.
Whoa, this is coming. This is the ears of a GameStop worker themselves. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? You did that?
When we do our Gran Turismo episode, I'll do a little further deep dive. But I guess they kept pushing the game back. And then when they finally had it shipped to stores, I guess he tried to delay it again. But 5 of us showed up there, like, hey, where's the game? Everyone said it'd be today. Then he was like, F it, here.
Oh, he said, fuck it.
I mean, no, we didn't get it for free, but he opened up the box and was like, all right, I'll let you guys get this.
All right. So I'm sorry. Dot hack sign is the name of the
Sign,
yes,
okay.
is the name of the anime. So I got part 4 right here. It's called Dot Hack Quarantine, part 2, or it's part 4 of the series. Loose. This is loose. This game is going for $165.92. That is loose. That's just the game in a sleeve. That's it.
Wow.
If you get the complete inbox, you're looking at $250.
That's cover the box and instructions.
Yep. Dot hack infection, you're looking at $14 loose, $20 complete inbox. You got dot hack outbreak, $30 loose, $50 complete inbox. Dot hack GU rebirth, $50 loose, $86 complete inbox. Let me tell you something. These dot hack games are where it's at.
Them games are expensive.
Very expensive, but they were good games. They were really good games. PlayStation 2 came out with some good ass games, man.
All of them?
I don't know if all of them
okay,
were good.
maybe
I know
not
a couple
all
of them were.
But yeah, PS2 had a bunch of great games. I just remember hours of playing Gran Turismo, Metal Gear Solid, Madden. I know I had to play other things. I'm sure I played wrestling games.
Nah, well, not. I mean, the 64 we did.
Yeah, because it just ran better on the 64. For some reason, it took them a long time to figure out wrestling games on the PlayStation.
It did, but am I hurt by it? No, because again, like the PlayStation did have its not so great things, but especially game wise, what is a terrible wrestling game I can think of? WCW Nitro. That was a horrible game. WCW Mayhem, also a horrible game. No, was Mayhem on PlayStation? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, but I'm thinking these are like PS1 games. The SmackDown games were actually pretty decent.
They were.
The earlier SmackDown games were pretty decent.
I think I have a 2006 SmackDown vs. Raw.
Ooh. That's not bad. But yeah, the PS2 was a great system. I would definitely purchase it again if it was new. I mean, obviously, I do have a PS2.
I'm sure there's a sealed version out there somewhere in the wild.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's going to be $1 million for it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got rolling with the PS2 for the most part.
All right, that's all I got. Like listeners out there, go ahead and comment your favorite PS1, PS2 memory.
Yeah.
Games you grew up playing.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm down for that. Then we can actually, you know what? Before we're out, we can actually take this because I mean this was a shorter cast. We can actually take some of the comments in there and kind of make a segment out of it.
Yeah, we can.
And you're like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. And then yeah. But now we're out.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yes. Take it easy.